Hey everybody, welcome back to another Robbie John tutorial where we're going to cover the activated function or activated section of a tool. Essentially, in our last couple parts of our tutorials, we have it so that we have an idle animation, and then we also have a moving idle animation, and then yeah, we made a tool, we figured out how to get the grip and everything together. So to continue on, we're going to want to make it so that you have an activated part where your guy swings and then he has actual combos with his swings. And you guys can obviously change those with your own scripts, but we're going to move into the scripting part. So to start off, things are a little bit different. Not necessarily, there are some variables that will be carried on over from the previous part, but here we're going to want to add a remote because we want to call in the local script that we're going to work on, and then you have your 4 variables that you had before, and then down here we want to add a couple different things that will change our script up for the activated section. So here you want to have a combo count that's equal to 1 because that's where you want to start off. You don't want to start your combo count on 3 or whatever unless that's just what you want to do. I mean, maybe that is, who knows, but we're going to start it off at 1 because that's going to be the first swing. Then you're going to want to have a last swing tick. Basically what this means is there's going to be a count where between swings. So like if you didn't swing within like a certain amount of time, it'll just reset back to combo count 1. And then we're going to have a debounce that's going to get a table of the humanoids. You could change this to debounce humanoids, whatever, but essentially if you did that, you'll have to change it in the script. We'll just leave it like this. And then we're going to have a debounce for true based on, you know, when you can swing, or if it has to do with the actual part of getting hit part of the script. And then also we're going to have a can damage to be equal to false because when you're in your idle state, you don't want your sword doing damage to somebody without actually swinging. And then you can change this damage, but this is just something that's going to be worked on later as far as the part where you do your damage, essentially. So you can have it 6, but the damage is going to change based in my script based on the combo count. So if, like, let's say the combo count is 2, I'm going to make it so that the damage is times by 2. So then instead you'll do like 12 damage the second attack. And then when you go into combo count 3, boom, it'll be even more. And then more and more and more. So you guys can change that. You can, you know, use a different variable if you wanted. You can make it, instead of just timesing it by 1 or 2 or whatever, you can like have it even less. Who knows? But now we're going to get down the animations. I believe those are exactly the same. And then we want to add the sounds. So in the sounds, there's going to be 2 different kind of like variables. I'm going to have a couple different slashes and slash hits. So these slash hits are going to be when your character actually hits something, essentially. You can make it so that if you don't hit a character, but if you wanted to, you can make it so if it hits like a wall, let's say, you can make a sound based on hitting a wall, or you can make a sound based on hitting a person. And the more variables of sounds you have, I feel like the more unique the sword is, because if you have the same exact hit sound, I feel like it doesn't really add more realism to the weapon. But then you also want different misses, because obviously if you're attacking from different types of ways, like if you're just going over the top, or if you do some sort of spin or whatever, you kind of want like different sounds that way. So we'll move down and we'll have the tool equipped part. You already have that, I believe. The biggest thing I was seeing on YouTube was people were having issues with this. I'm assuming they were having spelling issues and stuff like that. Guys, also, if you wanted, you can add another way of checking your script by doing like prints. So you can check to see like if it's even reaching a certain part, because what happens is when you're writing a script out, most of the time it's kind of flowing, right? But when it stops flowing and it doesn't tell you it's wrong and nothing's happening, there's no real way to check it unless you print it out. So like, for example, if there's a humanoid and you wanted him to play, you could do print, and if this wasn't working, let's say if the idle animation wasn't working and you had print afterwards, and the print doesn't even show up, then it's saying, hey, we're not even getting this far. So then you can look up into this area to see what's going on, and maybe you have like a little misspelling error where instead of it being humanoid, maybe you have something lowercase. Basically, letters and stuff matter quite a bit when it comes down to scripting, because everything has to be perfect, essentially. Because in one little letter, if it's uppercase, lowercase, it can change the way your script works as far as like variable wise. Because if this was a capital, it would be trying to grab this, but it doesn't know exactly where it is. You know what I mean? Anyways, moving on. We'll go down to the tool activated part. So you want to have your tool and then have it activated. In our script, the tool is the parent of this script. So once it's activated, it goes through and looks for the humanoid. So you want to get the tool's parent, and you want to find out, find the first humanoid, and then you want to play and have the idle animation so everything runs smoother over here with these idle animations and stuff. It's just kind of like a secondary check kind of thing, because when you get done, you want to run another idle animation. Essentially, you want to revert back after you're done activating your script. So then we have the debounce, if debounce. When you write if debounce, it's basically saying if true is basically what it's writing. So if debounce, and because if debounce is equal to true, this should go through. And then you want to make the debounce false. So if you have the debounce false, it means if it won't activate this again, because if debounce is false, then it won't continue on after this, right? So because we're already here, you can kind of go through everything. You have to change it later. So then we want the can damage to be true, and then you want to get the table and clear out the table, because essentially if you activate your weapon more than once or twice, or basically more than once, you want to reset the debounce here. I have an extra delay set as 0 here, because when you swing your sword, I want to make it so that there is no like actual extra delay until like you get into the higher combo counts with swinging it. We'll just make that a normal. You can change it to whatever you want, to be honest. You can mess around with some of these variables, but I just made it so that you could just like spam it until you reach like a certain point. So we get into another if statement here. You want to do tick minus the last swing. So you get basically the last swing of the character when he activates it. And then if it's greater than 4, so if 4 seconds essentially go by, it'll say, okay, we're going to reset, essentially. Or if the combo count is greater than or equal to 4. You can change this here too. This is basically like your maxed out combo count in the script. You can make it 100, you can make it 500, you can make it 2. It doesn't matter, whatever you decide to have it. This will change how you do things. Maybe you have this set up for like a certain way you shoot your gun, blah blah blah. It's just kind of like up to you. And then if this is if either one of these are true, where it's, you know, the last swing is greater than this, it's just going to reset, and then we have to make the combo count equal to 1 again, because that's just, we need to go back to how it was. And then if we made another kind of like little situation here where if it's greater than or equal to 3, so like if you've already reached like over a halfway point in your combos, your guy, this extra delay added here, we add that into a wait later, essentially, the extra delay. But with this extra delay, it basically means like you need a rest between like swinging your sword again. It's kind of like another wait before you can just like start spamming your combos all over again. You don't have to have this here. You guys can make it so you just go through your combos and then you can just keep on spamming and just run in like crazy or whatever. But I just have some sort of like, okay, you've gone through a pretty good chunk of your combo count. We want to have you rest a little bit. So then if this isn't true, you're gonna go into an else statement. So you want to increase your combo. So like if this doesn't reset here, and you're still like you swung once and you're still within the params of you know, you're swinging less than 3 or 4 seconds and your combo count is less than 4, then you can add to your combo count, and then you can we'll have the extra delay thing again after you reach the 4. So if you reach that 4, you have to wait again. But this is where it kind of gets a little more interesting. So if you're on your combo count 1, it's going to pick up what combo count you're on, obviously, based on this situation here. If you're on combo count 1, I made this like swing miss sound. I played it here because it's the sound that I have kind of sounds nice. It just sounds like it's swinging through the air, but then you can add the hit afterwards and it'll sound like I don't know, it just sounds way more cool and there's more sounds. So we added a swing miss, and it's nice too because if you actually do miss and don't hit anything, there'll be some sort of sound when you play. And then you have 2, 3, and 4 because that's how many combo counts I have. You could also do like if combo count is equal to 1 and or like less than, let's say if you have like 100 combo counts, right? You can make it so that like if your combo count is less than 4, it could play this, then this. So you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Essentially, you can do it a little bit differently. And then you're gonna stop the play animation of the idle because that's the one that we got here. You want to stop him from idling, and then you want to fire a client based on our local script that we'll have. I'll explain that right after we're done with this. And then the last swing is going to be equal to tick. So basically, it'll determine your last swing with a weight there. And we'll have the weight just for the like a little bit of a delay, and then we want to make the can damage to equal false. The delay is basically just so that you have a little bit more time for the damage to get through. That's why I just put this little weight here. And then this here, because you're not damaging anymore, this is the extra delay. If there is no extra delay, because in certain situations it's 0, you can just go right into your next swing, and then you want to make the debounce true again. Man, that was quite a bit to kind of unjamble and talk through, but we got through it. And then your unequipped is exactly the same still. So now we have the chunkiness of how the activated works. We're still gonna need 1, we're gonna have to work on our local script here in a second, and then 2, we have to add in a like a touched damage section. But for here, we're pretty much done with the activated part of the function, and then we can move on to the next part. Alright guys, we're going to move into the local script part of our tool. This is going to basically grab the animations that we have, and we're going to pull them into our main script. So, to start, we have to have a local script. So you go into tool and you want to hit the add button here, and you either pop up this local script or you can just search it in the search bar if it for whatever reason doesn't show up, and then it'll print something like hello world or something like that. You can delete that. So basically, to start, we have to do our variables again for the tool, and that'll make things a little easier when it comes down to you know, writing everything out again. So you want to put tools equals script.parent because that's exactly where it's at in here. And then you also want to add a remote event in here. So you do the same thing as you type this in here, and then you can put remote event. It should pop up. And then you can change it to remote if you want, or you can just leave it as remote event, and you can just change this in here. Now we'll have to continue on, and we can add our animation IDs in. So we're going to get a table, and based on where it is in the table, so this is the first part of the table, right? So this is your first swing. This is going to be your second swing, your third swing, in forward swing. I'm pretty sure you guys can't use the same IDs that I have because these IDs are saved to my my account, so you can't have the same exact thing that I have. I mean, you guys can try it, but I don't think it works. I haven't really messed around with that too much, but yeah. Anyways, I think there's actually a couple of different ways if you look online to find where you can actually steal the ones from me, but I really don't mind if you want to. They're no big deal. But now we want to get a loaded animation table, and then I also have a table insert where there's a variable for it, so you don't have to write out table insert every time. I just put T insert. And then here I screwed this up and I was writing tool equipped, but I just was typing fast, so I put whatever and it just put false. So you know, this is a perfect example of spelling. As long as like it works in your script, it works here. You can put tool equipped if you want, but if you do that, you'll have to change it down here and make sure they match. But then we want to fire server through the remote, basically telling the server that, hey, we want to pull some stuff out of this this local script. And then we also want to have this tool equipped connect. So basically you have to say that the tool is equipped, find the humanoid. If there's a humanoid, then you want to have the loaded animations to be blank. And then you want to have a for statement basically cycling through the number of IDs. So if it's 1 or whatever ID it is, it'll create an instance, which is an animation. And then you basically are going to make that instance whatever ID that is flowing through here. So if I is equal to 1, this would be 1, and then this is 2, and so on. So whatever it is, it'll fill in that ID as what it is, and then that's how you insert it through the humanoid load animation. So now we're going to move down here, and we're going to have the remote on client event, and it's going to say what number you're on as far as your combo count and stuff, and it's going to play the animation with which one it is. So with these, like I said before, with these double dashes, this is just kind of like a note so that you kind of know what this is doing. And if the number of loaded animation is greater than 0, then a loaded animation is that number. So if it's 1, then the loaded animation is going to be 1, and that's what this is. Then if the loaded animation is that, it'll play. That's pretty much it for this part. So essentially, if you're this far, you should be able to do exactly what I'm about to do. It should work to this point where your guy can run around, you have your idle animation stuff playing, you can swing and use all 4 of your attacks or whatever, and that's great. But now we have to get to the next part of the script, which should be just as easy. We're gonna have to have a touched situation where if you hit somebody, it does damage to the characters. I think also this could be I think it's just my situation here where I'm not 100% sure, but if you notice when you're swinging, I think with these handles here, yeah, there is a can collide. So if you turn off can collide, if you go back in here, you shouldn't wobble around. Yeah, because the sword was colliding with the ground, and it was causing my character to kind of like freak out a little bit. So now it should be perfect, and everything should run a little smoother. Sweet. I'm gonna save that for now too. Alright guys, now we're gonna move on to the part where we're gonna have a touched function where it's going to actually do damage to the people that it hits. So in our situation, we kind of have some weird names for our tool, right? Because we have meshes and they have like these weird slash weapons, cube, blah, 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 right? So let's grab the tool really fast, and I want to pull it into the workspace, and then I want to figure out what part is the actual blade part that's going to do damage to people. So if you wanted, you definitely don't want the handle to be the part that does the damage. So you want to grab the correct part and probably go with this one because that looks like the most nice part here, probably this gray box here. So I'm gonna change that name to blade, just so that it's a little easier for us to access it through the tool. And then yeah, so we'll put that back into the server pack or starter pack so that we can pull it out when we're ready and done. So essentially now we want to add a thing that basically gets us to say, okay, we need the blade part of the weapon, right? So up here at the top, you want to add underneath probably the tool part. We want to add local blade is equal to tool, wait for child, and then blade. Pretty sure that's how I wrote it in here. It should be capitalized and everything. You gotta make sure the writing and everything is actually the same, especially when you're trying to call for that. But make sure you're in the script part. We're not in the other part anymore. So we probably could do it right here. This would probably be a pretty good spot to write it, because it's going to be, you don't want to put it in a different weird spot, because if you're calling on the damage, you want to call it probably at the beginning of the script, because if something is falling behind it, like if it's unequipped and you put it behind the unequipped part, it might not work. So you want to put it in kind of the right spot, I guess. So we're gonna put here the function. We'll do blade dot touched, and then connect function. And then inside this little bracket here, we want to put hit so that we can get the whatever is hit by the blade, because in this function essentially, or the touched situation, whenever it hit, whatever this is that it touches is identified here. So if it's, let's say if hit is like a hand, right? We're gonna get the hit dot parent, and then so if it's a hand, you want to get the parent of the hand, and then determine who it is, and then that way you can find like their actual like humanoid to do damage to them. So we want to get ourselves too, so we'll do my human is equal to tool dot parent find first child, which is a humanoid, and then the reason we're getting that is so that we don't do damage to ourselves when we're swinging the sword. And then you want to do local humanoid is equal to hit dot parent, and then you want to find find first child humanoid, and then we're also going to do their humanoid root part. Actually, we don't have to do that. The reason I was going to do humanoid root part is because in one of my other scripts, I have like a situation where you can kind of push them back a little bit, and we'll cover that maybe in the next video. If that's what people want to do. We'll see what you guys say in the comments. So basically, if humanoid and not Deb, and then humanoid. So basically it's saying if it's not a humanoid within that table, and can damage. So if can damage is true, which is pulled in from this down here, right here is where it goes false, when it goes true, so you can only damage within this situation here, and not hit dot parent is descendant of tool dot parent. Technically, I just could put my human here. It should be fine though. We'll write it like that. So yeah, and then you can write it out like this. Deb humanoid equal to true. And then you can start implementing your hit sounds if you want. So I'll put a little tab here, hit sounds. And then we also want to have a situation here where we can print the combo counts and stuff. We probably should just print it here. I think that's fine. So we can do print combo count, and then basically we can write it like this: is the combo count. So when you write this, you want to have a space to start here, because otherwise you'll just have like combo count and then is combined. So this is kind of like a string. This is what they call a string here, and that's basically saying something's attached to it. You could also technically write it like this, I believe, and it would show up just fine as well. You could write it like that, but some people write it like this. It's just kind of like a preference thing. So then let's get into the damage part. So hit dot parent dot humanoid dot health is equal to, we'll do the same thing, and then you want to subtract it from what it was. So you're gonna have your damage, and then this is your situation here where you can kind of change up how you want to do your damage. But I'm gonna do combo count. So if you're on combo count 3, it'll just multiply 3 by damage, or you can just kind of have it as a set thing as well. You could literally have like damage times combo count, but you could have it like written out like a percentage of the combo count, so it's not like you're doing a chunk of damage every time you reach 4 or whatever. Or you can just do damage. You don't even have to have a combo count here. You can make the damage like straight the entire time. And then down here we're gonna have if combo count, whoa, combo count is equal to 1, and then we can put slash hit and then play. So I'll have a little sound there, and I'm actually going to copy this because we're going to have a couple of them. So we'll just do boom, boom, boom. So then we'll change this to 2, 3, and then 4, and then I'm going to make this slash 2. And then I'm going to keep this as 1, and then I'm going to make this 3, so that there's kind of like I know what my animations are. I'm kind of looking off of my other script because I know what sound goes well with which one. But this is kind of like how I would write it. And I'm kind of just spreading things out so it's a little easier to read. And that's pretty much it, guys. Super easy. And then when it goes back into the other thing, it just kind of clears it all out, because once you do this blade touch during this can damage section, it'll change this here. And that's pretty much it. I think the only thing that you could do to change, if you really, really wanted to, let's see. I think after you do the damage, you could turn off the can damage if you wanted. You could probably do like here, you could do can damage is equal to false if you wanted. So once it goes through all this, it'll say, hey, damage is off now. Sorry, dude. So it's kind of like a double check in a way. But I think that's pretty good. And let's go into this here, and let's add a little test dummy or something. Let's see, let's build a rig, and we'll do just like a 15 and put them in here, and let's beat the heck out of them. Make sure it works, and let's put on the output too to make sure that there's no weird issues. Combos 2, combos 3, and then 4. Nice. Looks like it's working pretty good. Yeah, he's kind of swinging hella fast now. because I'm just spamming it, but it's not bad. But you can change that based on those weights and ticks that I was telling you about earlier. You can definitely change those. Because see how like fast I was just spamming it? It literally just skipped 1 and went straight to 2 and then 3 and 4 because of how fast. So, yeah. I mean, you can mess around with the script a little bit on your own. I tried to keep it as simple as possible, but also like beneficial for everyone, you know, beneficial for everyone else. So if they want to change some things, they can. But yeah, that's why I like to explain things and try to get a little more, you know, what's the word? Like a thorough data or whatever. I don't know. I'm tired, guys. Okay. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Sorry it was a much longer video than it needed to be, but I like explaining things so that people can understand it a little better instead of just copying scripts and then pasting them into their scripts. I'd much rather have you understand how it works so that other people can make content like this and help other people out to make cooler games. So we're going to wrap that up for now, and maybe in the next one, depending on what you guys say in the comments, we can add some type of push, so like when you hit the dummy or person, maybe they get knocked back a little bit, or maybe we can make it so that you can dodge roll or something like that. We'll see what you guys decide in the comments. If you have any suggestions or questions, please feel free to ask. I'm pretty good at answering back within a decent amount of time for the most part. So adios, guys. Take it easy and stay safe out there. Peace.